Some people become quiet because silence feels safer than honesty. I became very good at keeping things inside. Not dramatically, not in an obvious way. I just slowly stopped expressing things in real time. Discomfort, disappointment, hurt. I would process everything privately first before letting everyone see it. And after a while, people started assuming I was just naturally calm. But internally, I was constantly filtering myself, making sure my emotions stayed manageable, reasonable, non-disrupt, confused self-protection with selfhood. There were so many things I described as my personality. Being emotionally guarded, avoiding dependence, always preparing for worst-case scenarios. I thought I was simply observant, careful, independent. But looking back now, I think many of those behaviors were built from adaptation. Not preference, adaptation. My nervous system became organized around avoiding emotional risk. So even ordinary situations, I started feeling like things I needed to manage carefully. I became more comfortable in validating myself before other people could. I had a habit of minimizing my own emotional reactions before anyone else could respond to them. If something hurt me, I immediately searched for reasons why maybe shouldn't. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I was being sensitive. But constantly negotiating your emotions down into something more acceptable slowly changes your relationship with yourself. When existing around people started feeling calculated. I became hyper-aware of myself in rooms that never asked me to shrink. I used to monitor myself constantly around other people, my tone, my reactions, how long I talked, how emotional I sounded. I carried this quiet fear of becoming overwhelming without realizing it. So I learned how to reduce myself, not because anyone explicitly told me to, but because somewhere along the way, I started associating acceptance with emotional restraint. I mistook emotional uncertainty for connection. There was a period of my life where emotional inconsistency felt strangely familiar to me. Not enjoyable, not healthy, just familiar. Waiting for reassurance, analyzing small shifts in tone, trying to predict emotional distance before it happened. Part of me believed closeness came with instability attached to it. So when relationships felt calm, I struggled to trust them fully. I kept waiting for the hidden tension underneath. I was comfortable being emotionally useful. Being cared for felt completely different. I knew how to support people. I knew how to listen carefully, show up consistently, pay attention to emotional detail. But when care directed toward me, something inside me became uncomfortable. I would downplay my feelings automatically, deflect compliments, minimize my needs before anyone could fully see them. Not because I didn't want closeness. I think I just became more familiar with earning connection through attentiveness than simply receiving it naturally. So when someone offered care freely, part of me didn't know how to settle into it. I adjusted to people so well that I sometimes disappeared inside the adjustment. I had the habit of adapting quickly to the emotional patterns of the people I cared about. Their routines became my routines. Their preferences became my priorities. Their emotional comfort quietly became the center of the relationship. Not because they forced me to. I became so focused on maintaining harmony that I stopped noticing how disconnected I was becoming from my own instincts. I could explain myself clearly while still hiding emotionally. I became very skilled at controlled openness. I could talk about experiences, memories, even painful situations, but I usually presented them after I had already processed them privately. After the emotions were organized, contained, safe to explain. What I struggled with was being emotionally visible in real time, letting people witness uncertainty before I fully understood it myself. Because somewhere along the way, I started associating emotional exposure with loss of control, so composure became something I relied on heavily. I treated simple communication like something that needed careful damage control. I spent a lot of times rehearsing conversations before having them, trying to predict misunderstandings before they happened. I would add extra explanations, extra clarification, extra reassurance. Not because I enjoyed over-explaining. I think I became afraid of being interpreted incorrectly. So instead of trusting that people would approach me with curiosity or patience, I tried to eliminate every possible chance of conflict beforehand. I didn't realize relationships could feel calm without being emotionally distant. I was used to relationships feeling emotionally demanding. Constant interpretation, constant anticipation, constant awareness of subtle emotional shifts. So when I finally experienced consistency, part of me didn't know how to relax into it. I kept expecting hidden tension, unexpected withdrawal, some kind of emotional instability underneath the calmness. Not because the person gave me a reason to fear it, but because my body had become accustomed to preparing for emotional unpredictability automatically. I realized my body stayed emotionally alert even in safe environments. I didn't notice how tense I was around other people until much later. In calm environments, part of me remained watchful, paying attention to tone changes, facial expressions, energy shifts. I became used to monitoring emotional atmosphere, not in dramatic way. It was subtle, like my nervous system never fully stopped scanning for possible discomfort. I didn't realize how much of my identity had been organized around endurance. For a long time, I measured myself through resilience, how much I could tolerate, how well I could adapt, how effectively I could keep functioning under pressure. I built entire versions of myself around emotional endurance. So when life started becoming calmer, part of me felt strangely unfamiliar with that version of reality. I had spent so much time learning how to survive difficult environments that I never fully learned how to exist without constantly bracing myself. And maybe that's one of the quieter parts of healing, realizing you are allowed to become someone whose life is not organized entirely around survival anymore. I think healing changes the way you relate to yourself more than anything else. The way you listen to your emotions, the way you respond to discomfort, the way you allow yourself to exist without constant self-protection. And maybe becoming someone beyond survival is not about erasing your past. Maybe it's about finally allowing yourself to live outside of it.